So I'm at Savers again, and there's a Game Boy here for $4.99. There's some screen damage, but that's easily fixed. Okay, so now we got that strip removed. So what you're going to want to do is take your soldering iron, and you're going to apply it at the angle here. Now, the screwdriver I'm just using to demonstrate where you're actually going to apply it, but it kind of curves down right there because there's a lip to this plastic screen, and that's where you're going to actually apply it. You want the tip to lay flat on that, and you want to keep moving it gently back and forth. Now, the first time I saw instructions on how to do this online, I was kind of leery of it. And if you notice, some of the lines are coming up. More lines are disappearing. But that's okay, because they're going to come back. I thought to myself, well, if I put a soldering iron on that, it's just going to melt it. It's going to make it worse. But actually, as long as you keep moving it, it won't. Now, if you notice, all of a sudden a bunch more lines came back. The reason why is because the thin solder that's under this ribbon cable is melting. It's making fresh contact again. Same kind of contact that was there when the Game Boy was first manufactured. So we almost got it. We got a couple that are holdouts. Now we got one that's a holdout. Looks like we got it all. It looks like there's one on this side, so we'll go ahead and try to see if we can fix that one. Oh, made a couple new ones up here. Sometimes it works just to go in one direction, sometimes to go all over. You're probably thinking, oh, it looked fine, now it's messed up. I made it worse. I didn't make it worse. It looks like there's two lines. Now there's one. The cool thing is you can do this to whatever Game Boy game and use that as a motivating music. Looks like we got just that one more. Bingo! Looks like we got it. Now before you touch it again, let it sit for a little while so that solder that was reheated up can actually cool down. And as you can tell, the screen looks great now. No more lines. So after a little while of it sitting there, you can go ahead and shut the system off. Be gentle not to bump it or anything like that. Now with this strip, you're actually going to stick it back in there, but I recommend cleaning it up and getting off any of the excess glue. So that when you do lay it down, it lays down perfectly even. You probably shouldn't remove the glue over the actual Game Boy, otherwise the old glue is going to fall in it. Alright, good job. Alright, now we're going to take some electrical tape, about the length of that black strip of plastic. It doesn't necessarily need to be the same length. It could be a little bit shorter, that's fine. You want the thickness to be about at least twice as thick as the black strip, maybe even a little bit thicker, maybe almost 3 times as wide. Then center the tape on that strip. Just like that. Now, the tape itself is a little bit stretched, and that's what's causing it to curve. So if it's doing that, you need to reapply it so that's not stretched, because otherwise it's going to lift up on that. Alright, now you're going to put this back exactly where you originally had it. Now, some people have asked me, well, why don't you just put a thin strip of glue and put it back down? And the reason why you don't want to do that is in case pixels ever go out again, you don't want to have more glue to clean up. It's far easier just to remove a piece of electrical tape than to go through that. Right now, unfortunately, sometimes by doing this, you'll actually break more lines, and you'll have to repeat the process. So before we go any further, we'll go ahead and turn the system on again. And it looks okay. I don't see any lines. So we're going to put everything back together and be real careful in doing so. So we'll go ahead and remove that paper. We'll take that original shell. Now would also be a good time to clean the screen itself and the inside of the plastic cover. And I just use an eyeglass cloth. Make sure there's no fingerprints or anything like that. Same thing with the inside. Looks good. There's some dust right there, or debris. Take that out. Alright, make sure the pads and everything are back to the way they were. Alright, and now what we're going to do is actually put the shell back on. And remember, they have to be opposites to each other, because that's how we opened it. So lift it up and over. You don't want to lift the shell up. Very gently. Position it back over the little standoffs. Get the speaker back in there. Now we're going to put the screws back in. I'm actually going to go ahead and unplug the soldering iron. So we don't need it anymore. Switch back to the Phillips tip. And all the screws on the inside are the same. So if you get them in the wrong order, it's not going to really matter. Should all work just the same. Okay. Alright, now close it back. Careful when doing so. Flip the system back over. You want to take the batteries out again so you can access those 2 screw holes. You're going to switch to that tri-wing tip again. We'll go ahead and put in the last 6 screws. Make sure they're all in there good. Looks like they are. We'll go ahead and put in the fresh batteries again. Turn it back on. And it looks like all the lines are still gone. So now I can enjoy this $5 Game Boy.